Thank you for joining us on WQPH, 89.3 FM Shirley, Fitchburg, Queen of Perpetual Help, and another edition of Local Matters. Now, on this week's episode, we return to the recent St. Gianna's Place banquet, a charity for St. Gianna's Place. It is a pregnancy center in New Hampshire. You can find more information at stgiannasplace.org, and their special guest speaker was Jack Beers. He's from the Catholic Mentor, a very renowned speaker, and we present part one of his talk. To learn more about Jack Beers and the Catholic Mentor, visit thecatholicmentor.com. That's thecatholicmentor.com. Prior to that, WQPH presents some messages and some upcoming events that will be coming up this year. So stay tuned.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. We want to say a special prayer for all our listeners and who keep us on the air. And I would like to acknowledge a special person that helped us build our radio station. His name is Tom
Scally, who helped put the radio station together. And we were just thinking of how appreciative we are of all the work you put into making recording and making going live and everything else so easy, taking calls and all the things he does for us.
And drives 7 hours to help us. God bless you, Tom. We love you. I know you're getting ready to retire.
He is.
So, Father God, please bless him. We're on the air 20 years. That's starting from when we were on WROL.
Oh, yes, WROL. WROL was a great starting point for the station. We did a lot of work with Father John Carapi and Connie Murphy and Kathleen and all of these wonderful people that brought WQPH to where it is right now.
Yes, and where it's going in the future now. We have Mark LaRusso, who is a wonderful person. He has his band. They're trying to get some music for us. And coming up, when Sister Deidre comes, wait till you see Sister Deidre. Her brother he's the Bishop of Springfield. We're going to have a big festival for Sister Deidre when she comes. We're trying to find a place where we could feed you people that love to eat and party and not be lonely. The loneliness, we're talking about that with...
We had an interview with Frank Tate from Soulfest, and he was talking about the idea of loneliness that is, which I didn't know, was very prevalent in New England, more so than any other part of the United States, especially after COVID.
Yes, the COVID. A lot of people are not here that we love, but we know they're looking down on us from above. But please pray for those souls that left us.
Let's talk about Sister Deirdre, who is going to be coming in October.
The third, Sister Deidre Byrne, Byrne. She's MD. The book that was written about her says The Life and the Courage of Sister Deidre Byrne, MD. Sister, soldier, surgeon. On this book that I have, it says, Sister Dee Dee is an American hero. That was a comment by President Donald Trump. On the back, people should know about Sister Deidre. She's coming here.
On the back of this book, it says, meet a modern-day Joan of Arc, whether in scrubs, camouflage, or a religious habit. Sister Dee Dee Byrne, in her threefold calling as a professed religious sister, renowned surgeon, and U.S. Army colonel, inspires us to both virtue and action. She ministered at Ground Zero on September 11th, served as St. Mother Teresa, personal physician, was deployed as a surgeon to Afghanistan for Operation Enduring Freedom, facilitated the rescue of citizens hiding from the Taliban, and travels regularly to the war-torn New Mountains in Sudan to provide life-saving medical care to inhabitants under siege. Whether she's saving lives on battlefields or outside the doors of abortion clinics, this exciting narrative offers a rare glimpse into the life of a contemporary heroine who dedicates herself to care of the poor, love of country, and an unwavering defense of the unborn. And that book again is called Sister, Soldier, Surgeon, and that's by Lisa Marie Carzone, PhD.
And we have some books here. Maybe if someone gives us a donation of, I would say, $40 or more to WQPH Radio, we could send you a book because it's expensive. We bought some books so you'd all get to know her before she comes here. And when you meet her, she is so charismatic. We're trying to get her to come to our pilgrimage this year.
Our pilgrimage will be October to November 2025. And the other thing is we did an interview with Sister Deirdre that is available on WQPHradio.org on our podcast, one of our Local Matters show. We did an extensive interview with her. So you should tune into that and you would get more information on her book as well.
Right. On the 3rd, she's flying in just for one day. And then we have to bring her back to her brother, who's a bishop.
And he is the Bishop of Springfield.
Yeah, Bishop Byrne. They have the same last name.
Bishop Byrne.
Stay tuned. We're looking also for people who want to be sponsors. A sponsor is someone that helps us defray the cost of bringing in people, putting them up, paying their airfare, and all that. We have quite a lot of people on our list that would love to bring here. So if you'd like to be a gold sponsor, that would be $250. If you'd like to be a platinum one, $100. Just send us a check to WQPH Radio, Post Office Box 589, Medford, Mass. 02155.
Yeah.
Okay.
02155.
And we can try to send you a book. We have 16 books left that we can do with that price, and you would be considered a sponsor.
If you want more information about all the things that are going on at WQPH, you can look to WQPHradio.org, where you can also listen to the station 24/7, and you can also post a prayer on our prayer wall at WQPHradio.org. And you can go on that prayer wall, as Peter and Jemmy says, you can go on that prayer wall and you can pray for others as well.
Right. Very good.
So thank you very much for listening, and we take you to WQPH's Local Matters.
Removing hidden or seemingly immovable obstacles, preventing people from experiencing deep and meaning impact in their lives. Jack does this through an integration of sound psychology and authentic Catholic anthropology. He lives in Cincinnati with his wife and 3 children and graciously agreed to be here with us this evening. Jack.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? All right, we'll see about that. I do live in Cincinnati, just south of Cincinnati in northern Kentucky, but I did not grow up there. I grew up in God's favorite state on earth, New Jersey. Yeah. Some New Jerseyites. I know when I'm on the East Coast when I get cheers or boos when I say that. My dad is Jewish. My mom is non-denominational Christian, so of course I became Catholic. Growing up, people would ask me, they would be like, okay, your dad's Jewish, your mom's Christian, what are you? And I would say, lucky. Off school for Jewish holidays, Christian holidays, it was the best. And then I realized people were actually asking me about my spiritual beliefs, right? They were asking me, what do I believe? Am I Jewish or am I Christian? So around the age of 14 or 15 or whatever, I started answering people like, your dad's Jewish, your mom's Christian, what are you? And I would say, I'm a confused Jew. I'm a confused Jew. Very confused. And yet, at the age of 17, I found myself going to a Catholic Mass for the first time. So, let me ask you this. What would make a 17-year-old self-proclaimed confused Jew go to Mass for the first time? A girl, yes. Yes. Yeah, you can clap for the girl. There you go. Every time I ask that question, it's immediately a woman who goes, one of me. I'm responsible. Yeah, I found myself going to Catholic Mass for the first time. And when I went to Catholic Mass for the first time, it was my first time really ever in a Christian context. I had never seen a crucifix before. I had never seen anyone genuflect before. I had never seen anyone receive communion before. I had never heard a proclamation of the gospel before in my entire life. And as I was experiencing this Mass, as I was experiencing this semi-exercise of stand, sit, kneel, stand, sit, kneel, stand, sit, kneel, this odd take on, hygiene, like the twisting of the cup. Is it enough? Is it enough for me not to get the next person? Do I really have to give peace to the person who just sneezed in their hand? Do I have to do these things? Is this a duty and an obligation? Shouldn't I be given my lines before the play begins? It was a very odd experience. And I was going there because she had told me that Jesus was the most important person in her entire life, and that if I was going to be with her, I needed to at least be comfortable in a context where Jesus was present. I, of course, eventually had to learn that she meant literally present, not just figuratively, but literally present. And so I went. And it was a really uncomfortable experience. And I remember stressing out, being really anxious at the end of this Mass, because I knew she was going to ask me what I thought. And I thought I could do with never coming back. That was pretty much the thought. And it was cold. It was like January, February, something like that. And we were going back to the car, and she had realized that she had forgotten her gloves in the church. So she was like, I forgot my gloves, and me trying to be a good gentleman, I'm like, I'll go get them for you. But really, I was stalling, trying to come up with a good answer in my mind. And I get back to this church, and it's actually just me in this church. Nobody else is left in this church. And I get back to the church, and I go back. She was a good Catholic, so we were in the second to last row when we were in Mass. And so I went back into the second to last row, and underneath the pew was her glove. And I bent down, and I picked up the glove. And I stood up, and after going through this whole Mass, the up-down exercise, all these different things, I'm in this church, I'm completely alone, and I stop, and I take this breath alone in this church. And suddenly I was completely and utterly aware that I wasn't alone, that there was a presence there, heavier and more real than me. And that this presence was making something very clear to me known. And that thing that was clear to me that was known was that I wasn't the man I could be quite yet. There was more to me than who I was. And there was a great pain in standing in that church, knowing that I wasn't who I could be. But there was also a great peace and a great excitement that would be true. I got back to the car, and I got in the car, and she was like, what did you think of Mass? And I thought, I don't know, but I would really love to go back and see if what just happened to me could be repeated. Do you think we could go? Do you think we could go a little bit early and maybe I could sit in some of that quiet a little bit longer? And she had like this smile on her face, like she knew what I was getting at. And she was like, yeah, but I'm Catholic. I can't go early. I can only stay late. And so that's what I started doing. Even though things didn't work out with the girl, I kept going back to Mass. I kept going back to Mass. I kept going to that place of presence. I kept going where I had encountered God. And then I came to the church on April 7th, 2012. And I hope that's clapping for God, because I did not want to do it, Must feel bad for taking credit for that one. Love transforms lives, yeah? Transforms lives. That day in that church, what I encountered was, yes, a presence, but more specifically, what I encountered was a message of love. And love transforms lives. And what I want to do tonight is to talk to you about what transformative love really looks like. Because transformation and love and hope, they're words we understand, but they're also words that are really big words. And we can often get lost in the vastness of the words, and we can forget how simple and how real and how true those words are. And so I want to dive into these two words of transformation and love. And I want to do it through a little bit of a story. Do you all mind if I do that? No? Good with that? If you're still with me, say yeah. A rowdy crowd, I like this. I never would have guessed that a banquet for a maternity house would be this poppin'. You guys are great. So when I was 11 years old, something crazy happened to me. When I was 11, I've always kind of looked like this my entire life, like a strong breeze could blow me over, or you could lose me sideways, you know? I've always been kind of thin. And when I was 11 years old, I lost 15 pounds in 10 days. And I was an 11-year-old boy, and I wanted one thing for my hair at 11. You know, I wanted a buzz cut so I could shower as little as possible. So I had lost 15 pounds in 10 days, and I had a buzz cut. Everybody thought I was dying of cancer. Yeah, kind of funny, yeah. Cancer, death, they're funny things. No. Everybody thought I was. Everybody thought I was dying from cancer. My parents didn't know what was happening to me. And they took me to the doctors, for like 2 or 3 months. And then finally they kind of came to a conclusion. And I remember sitting in this doctor's office, and I had a fever, and I was really not doing well. I was kind of loopy and whatever. But I remember this doctor. Coming in and him sitting down and him being like, okay, your son, he has Crohn's disease. It's an autoimmune disease. And it is tearing his body apart. But don't worry. I have access to the best medication in the world. And I am going to get your son down to 3 hospital stays a year, every year for the rest of his life. And my parents went, huh? I remember this is early 2000s. This is 2001. There is not a lot of research on these things. This was the best that they had to offer. He said, hey, look, he has a very serious case of Crohn's disease. And I'm going to do the very best I can, but you pretty much need to look at your son as someone who is now disabled. He's not going to be much taller than 5'1". He's not going to go away to college. He's not going to be able to hold down a job. He's not going to be able to have a family. Like, you need to consider that your son is now disabled and that this is going to be your life from here on out. I remember as we were getting back to the car, it's total silence, right? Like, we are walking back to the car in silence. Everybody is just like jaw to the floor shocked. I remember we get in the car, Dad's in the driver's seat, my mom's in the passenger seat, and nobody does anything. Nobody turns the car on. I know for you super young people, you actually had to twist to turn it on at this point in time, right? So the key is just in the ignition, and that's like that beeping at you, like that beep, beep, beep at you when you put it in the ignition, but nobody's moving. After about 2 or 3 minutes of this, my mom just turns and looks at me, and she just says, as cold and as tough and as serious as I've ever heard her, and she just said, that will not be your life. And then my dad, and my dad, being a true man, just did this. Turned the car on, hit the gas, and off we were going. About 2 months later, my mom found a new doctor. This doctor looked at me and he said, I've got a different path for you. It's the path through a food regimen. There's a very specific and very difficult food regimen. Very few people are able to adhere to it, but those who adhere to it, they can find remission, which is essentially that the symptoms of the illness essentially go to sleep. But it's really, really difficult. Few people have found success. And my mom said, okay, we're in. And he said, whoa. You need to know what this entails. Doesn't matter. We're in. And so my mom got to work. My mom got to work seriously. My mom got to work 4 to 6 hours a day, learning how to cook this type of food, doing all of the research on the internet. And Google wasn't even there yet, okay? This was serious research that my mom was doing on top of everything else that she was doing with my twin sister and my older sister. Full-time motherhood plus 4 to 6 hours every day to take care of me. And my mom did this. My mom was pulling 16 to 17-hour days every day for about 4 years. And over the course of those 4 years, I missed over 250 days of school. Mic drop. Literally. I didn't break anything. So I missed over 250 days of school. And when I was in 8th grade, I'd be taken out of school 2 months in, had to be out. Too sick. And I remember my mom coming into my bedroom, which is not a good sign. It means we're going to have to talk. And you guys know what 14-year-old boys like to do least in life. Talk. And my mom comes in and she's got a gift bag, and she's got a small little box, and she said, we need to talk, and I've got 2 presents for you, but before I give you the presents, I need to tell you something. She said, I've realized something in the 4 years of me trying to take care of you, and what I've realized is that I can't do it. I can't make you healthy. I cannot will you to health. You have 1 foot in this thing and 1 foot out. And the difference between you being healthy and you being continuously sick is a choice that you're going to make. To fully commit and go all in and to decide to rise to the occasion of your life. And to help you, I've given you 2 presents. She opens up the first one, and it is a floor-to-ceiling picture of the great Muhammad Ali standing over top of Sonny Liston with his arm like this, screaming at him to get up right before he was crowned heavyweight champion of the world for the first time. And at the bottom of this poster, it said, "Impossible is nothing," which was quoting Muhammad Ali. And he had this long, beautiful quote on how impossible is not a declaration, that it is a dare, and that impossible is nothing. And my mom gives me the second thing, and I open it up, it's a little dog tag. And on the dog tag it says, "Incurable is not a declaration, it is a dare." And she said, you getting sick and you having Crohn's, that is life daring you to be great. And you have a choice. Are you going to accept the dare, or are you going to wither and die, and that doctor's going to be right? She got up, she kissed me on the forehead, and left. First 4 years of having Crohn's disease, over 250 days of missed school. Missed a whole year in 8th grade. I have been sick once since then. When I was 22 and graduating college, I'm not 5'1". I had graduated summa cum laude. Woo! Oh, thank you. I need to hang out with you guys more often. Very friendly. Never missed a single day. Was arguably your healthiest chronically ill person ever. And we finished graduation. You guys have been to graduations, right? It's a swarm of people, all these college students wanting to say goodbye to all their friends, everybody looking for professors and friends and everybody else, and I was looking for one person. And when I found her, I gave her a big hug, and I took this diploma and I put it in her hand, and I said, "This is all you. Thank you for saving my life." Love transforms people's lives. In particular, a mother's love transforms people's lives.
Mother of perpetual help, help me now, I pray. Swiftly send your assistance to me as I call on your powerful name. Mother of perpetual help, on you my hope does rest. Every hour of every day, as I'm put to temptation's test, always and forever by my side, you lead me to the cross, as I learn to trust in your merciful Son, so my soul may not be lost. Mother of perpetual help, you know the state of my soul. Shamed and sinful I come to you, my refuge, my rock, my home. Mother of perpetual help. Send God's graces down. Prepare me for my judgment day, and to share in thy glorious crown. Always and forever by my side, you lead me to the cross. As I learn to trust in your merciful Son, so my soul may not be lost. O Mother of perpetual help, help me now, I pray. Swiftly send your assistance to me as I call on your powerful name. Mother of perpetual help.
That was Randy Albright's Mother of Perpetual Help. And that's all the time we have this week. Tune in next week at this same time for the conclusion of Jack Beer's inspiring message. Thank you for listening to another edition of WQPH's Local Matters. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast and hope you have a blessed week.